You're just a wife of the accountant. It doesn't give you the right to be so arrogant. One day, I was invited to a birthday party for a politician who is one of our important clients. However, as soon as his son, Sean, saw my wife, he came over to us and said, "Hey, let me take your wife for a while, okay? I can make things much better for you at work, you know." But we firmly declined his offer. Sean got angry and poured wine all over my wife's dress. Her beautiful beige dress was stained with the color of red wine. No matter if you're the son of a congressman, there are things that are acceptable and things that are not. I would like you to apologize to my wife. I demanded an apology in a calm manner, but Sean just laughed it off. I'm not just the son of a congressman, you know. I have the mafia backing me up, so I can do whatever I want and get away with it. I'm invincible," he said with a triumphant laugh, to which I responded with a thin smile. "Oh really? Which organization are you talking about? Bring them here, please." The mafia he was talking about are actually: my name is Rick, 33 years old, and I'm supposed to be an accountant. I say supposed to be because there's a bit of a story behind it. My father was a strict man, and from a young age, I was drilled in studies, martial arts, manners, and various other things. I studied abroad for university and stayed overseas until I graduated from graduate school. After returning to my country, I opened an accounting firm. It's a small office, but we have many clients, including politicians, and it can be said that we are thriving. Soon after opening the accounting office, I got married. The woman who became my wife is named Gabriella. As the name suggests, she is beautiful just by being there. I met Gabriella while studying abroad, and I remember being so struck by her beauty the first time I saw her that I was breathless. She was slender, glamorous, and elegant, and I thought I had never seen such a beautiful person before. I might say this about myself, but I have a very ordinary appearance. Average build, not handsome but not ugly either. No particularly notable features. But I also consider that to be my weapon. In my line of work, it's better to not stand out unless necessary. That's what I think. But when I met Gabriella, I sincerely wished I had the outstanding looks of a Hollywood actor. And now, I'm married to Gabriella and living a happy life. Life is indeed a mysterious thing. We've been married for 7 years now. We don't have any children yet, but we live in harmony. One time, we were invited to a party by one of our clients, who is a politician. It wasn't one of those fundraising parties that are often talked about, but a birthday party for the politician. It was supposed to be a very private gathering, but being a politician, it turned out to be quite a grand affair. I wore a designer suit, and Gabriella wore a dress to the venue. While I in my suit might have gone unnoticed, I could tell from the moment Gabriella stepped out of the car that she was drawing looks from everyone around. And no wonder. After all, she is my pride and joy. I had a proud gleam behind my silver-rimmed glasses. Today, Gabriella is wearing a beige dress that isn't too flashy. It's a choice that won't stand out too much but can still liven up the atmosphere, as she isn't the main character of the event. The dress itself is a strapless, bare shoulder style. This skirt length extends to below the knees. To match the beige of the dress, she's wearing heels with a simple design that aren't too high. This might seem too plain, but she's layered it with a fluffy chiffon fabric short top. I'm explaining this in such detail, but it's all coming from Gabriella. I've been made to study various things by her, but I'm certainly not that knowledgeable about women's fashion. These things tend to go in and out of fashion quickly, after all. According to Gabriella, it's supposed to create a sheer effect, but all I know is that no matter what dress she wears, Gabriella looks beautiful. Beneath the layered sheer top, Gabriella's beautiful, smooth shoulders are subtly visible. The fluffy layer on top of the sleek dress only reveals the silhouette of Gabriella's radiant skin, creating an incredibly beautiful look. Upon closer inspection, it's quite sexy, but since Gabriella's makeup is subdued today and her hair is styled in a simple curly look, she appears nothing but elegant. You look amazing, Gabriella, as always. I say, honestly impressed, when she shows me the final look at home. Oh, please, flattery will get you nothing more than a hug. Gabriella jests in response to my compliment, coming in for a light hug. She's perfect in every way. That such a woman as my wife still feels unreal to me. Shall we go then? I'm sure you'll be the center of attention at the venue too. That wouldn't do. Today, it's Michael and his family who are the stars. Don't forget that. Gabriella says, intertwining her arm with mine. Even though she dressed with such consideration, Gabriella still ended up drawing attention. Had there been a Hollywood-level man by her side, they would have looked like stars on the red carpet. Unfortunately, it's just average me next to her. And right now, I'm grateful for that ordinariness. Gabriella is that radiant after all. Upon announcing ourselves at the reception, we were handed name tags. I affixed Gabriella's to her dress and clipped mine to my suit's chest pocket. I'm fine with it. Having a name tag on the chest pocket of a suit is quite common at gatherings. But the name tag on Gabriella's perfect attire seemed out of place. I couldn't help but sigh lightly. Gabriella probably knew why I sighed. She gave a soft chuckle. First, we went to wish Michael Simmons, the congressman and the star today, a happy birthday. Michael, thank you for inviting us to such a joyful occasion today. Happy birthday. Oh, Rick, thank you for coming with your wife. And Gabriella, you always look beautiful, but today you are especially stunning. Did you dress up like this for my celebration? Michael said, complimenting Gabriella as a formality, but the look in his eyes showed his sincerity. Well, Michael, you're quite the charmer. Thank you. Today's attire is for you, Michael, and your supportive family. Gabriella said with a full smile, then turned to greet Michael's wife standing beside him. Michael's wife is a former actress. Not quite a leading lady, but if you heard her name, you'd likely recognize her. Marrying Michael when he was still an up-and-coming politician brought her wider recognition. She retired from the entertainment industry upon marriage and is now acknowledged as the devoted wife of a prominent politician. Even in her 50s, her beauty remains intact. Gabriella's response to Michael was carefully chosen to ensure no one misunderstood her intentions. Such perfect consideration. After greeting Michael and his wife, we mingled with the guests at the standing party. With this, Gabriella wouldn't stand out any more than she already had. I let out a sigh of relief and my shoulders slumped a bit. From here on out, I decided to blend in with the many guests and enjoy the party at a leisurely pace until it ended. We went around the tables laden with various dishes and carried our plates to an available table that seemed suitable. What about drinks? I think we should probably avoid alcohol today, Gabriella said, though her gaze was fixed on the drink counter despite her words. Gabriella enjoys her drinks quite a bit. Especially at occasions like this, there's always a selection of fine beverages. Deep down, she probably wants to enjoy a variety. A little wouldn't hurt, right? But still. As long as we don't overdo it, it should be fine. Wait here for a moment. Saying that, I headed towards the counter, and Gabriella stuck out her tongue playfully. Despite her appearance, she has these lovely moments that I absolutely adore. I casually picked out a drink that I thought would suit Gabriella. It would be nice if we could have a little taste of each. I can finish off the rest. I ordered at the bar counter and got a late white wine and a whiskey on the rocks. This whiskey is extremely popular worldwide right now. What used to be readily available at local liquor stores has become scarce and premium priced. But there was plenty of that rare whiskey here. Indeed, that's one powerful politician. Since it's available, I might as well enjoy it a bit. Getting drunk isn't a goal. I just want to savor the flavor of the alcohol, so a small taste like this is perfect. As I took the glasses and was about to return to Gabriella, I noticed some commotion. It seemed like someone was bothering Gabriella. I regretted leaving her alone. With her beauty, it was inevitable that someone with ulterior motives would seize the chance to approach her. I recognized the face of the man causing the trouble. It was Ulrich's wife. Waiting for Gabriella to be alone, Michael's eldest son, Sean, approached her with that line. "Yes, I am." "Just perfect. Let's have a drink together." Sean tried to put his hand on Gabriella's shoulder familiarly, but she smoothly dodged it. "I'm sorry, but I'm not much of a drinker." "If you can't drink, that's fine. Then, pour for me." He was treating Gabriella so bad. Holding glasses in both hands, I hurried back to Gabriella. "Rick." Gabriella noticed my return. "Excuse me, did my wife do something rude to you?" "I'm well aware there hasn't been any rudeness, but the person in question is the son of a client. It's necessary to handle the situation with courtesy." "No, I just asked your wife to drink with me, and she said she couldn't drink, but apparently it was a lie." Sean looked displeased as he saw the glasses in my hands and said so. "No, it's not a lie, she can drink, but we thought it best not to drink much today, so we're just having a small taste." Sean looked at me skeptically, then turned his gaze back to Gabriella. "She is too good for you, right? How can a plain, boring guy like you, who could be found anywhere, end up with such a beauty?" I hesitated a bit before responding. Sean's remark wasn't entirely unjustified. Indeed, from any perspective, I am a man without any distinguishing features. On the other hand, Sean could be considered handsome by anyone just based on his appearance. Tall and slender, with a physique that suggests he works out, his chest and arms are well defined, much like his beautiful mother. "Hey gentlemen, don't you think I'm tens of times more suitable for that beauty than someone like you?" Yes, based on looks alone, Sean might be more suitable for Gabriella than me. But that's only if we're talking about looks. "Hey, let me take your wife for a while, okay? I can make things much better for you at work, you know." Then Sean made an outrageous proposition. "It's not a bad deal, right? A win-win for both of us. Isn't that the way to go?" "No, thank you." Gabriella cut him off with an immediate response before he could finish. "I refuse as well." I followed suit after Gabriella. Sean's face turned red with anger, his mouth opening and closing in disbelief. He probably didn't expect to be refused. He must have used similar tactics before, using his position to intimidate those weaker than him. Suddenly, Sean acted on his impulse. "You're just a wife of the accountant. It doesn't give you the right to be so arrogant." With that, he poured wine all over Gabriella's dress. Her beige dress was stained with the color of red wine. No matter if you are Michael's son, there are things that are acceptable and things that are not. "I would like you to apologize to my wife." I demanded an apology from Sean in a calm manner, trying to keep my anger in check. But Sean, scoffing at us with disdain, continued. "You know, it's not just about my dad being a congressman. I have some really rough people backing me up." "Is that so?" Sean, seemingly provoked by my response, added, "Let me spell it out for you. Don't freak out, gentlemen. My dad's got the mafia behind him, which makes me the strongest here. Sean laughed at his own words, as if he found them amusing. "Oh really? Which organization are you talking about? Bring them here, please." I responded with a thin smile, mirroring Sean's. "What, you doubt me?" "No, not at all. I'm simply expressing my interest in meeting those ref people you mentioned." As I maintained a composed smile, Sean seemed to become even more infuriated. "Fine, you'll regret this later. Come on." Sean ordered one of his entourage to go and tell his father something. Sean is often said to be Michael's eventual heir, but frankly, he does not have a good reputation. In fact, it's quite bad. He can do whatever he wants with the prestige of his parents. His parents seem to be constantly putting out fires he starts, but they can't keep everyone's mouths shut. There are even people who support Michael but openly say they can't stand it if Sean becomes his heir. His relationships with women are especially flamboyant, with rumors of numerous instances where he's paid women not to talk about their relationships. I've heard such stories too. Sean himself has no power but his parents do, and furthermore, they have rough people backing them up. From those facts, he must be mistaken that he has the power. That's a clear case of the ass in the lion's skin. Prompted by Sean, his minion ran off straight to Michael. Likely a routine they've performed countless times before. It was a rather impressive display of teamwork. As I was pondering this, Gabriella swiftly took the 2 glasses from my hand and poured the white wine generously over the red wine stain on her dress. Sean was visibly shocked by this unexpected move. "Did you know you can dilute a red wine stain with white wine?" Gabriella said, and then she took a swig of the whiskey on the rocks. "Delicious. This is a top-grade whiskey, increasingly rare to come across these days. Michael really knows his stuff." Gabriella, with only the ice remaining in her glass, raised it in a toast, smiling beautifully at Sean. Sean couldn't utter a single word, frozen in place like a statue. Sean probably thought that we, as a couple, would be terrified and immobilized by his words, but Gabriella's behavior took him by surprise. He likely couldn't comprehend what was happening. "It seems the whiskey's hitting me a bit. It's getting warm. Excuse me for a moment," Gabriella said, handing me the glass before starting to remove her wine-stained jacket. Her shimmering shoulders were then revealed. Sean was captivated by her radiant, pure white skin. But on that pristine skin, something began to emerge. "What's that?" Gradually, the contours took on color, and soon a stunning crimson rose appeared on Gabriella's right shoulder. Raised carvings. This technique is known as raised tattoo. Commonly referred to as tattoos or ink, those in the know prefer the term carvings. Gabriella's body bore these carvings from her right shoulder across her back and down to her left inner thigh, all adorned with crimson roses. Even Sean seemed to faintly realize that a woman with such tattoos was no ordinary person. His complexion turned pale. Gabriella, with a smile reminiscent of a celestial being, slightly lifted the hem of her suit to flash the rose on her left thigh at Sean. There was no need to give such a show to someone like him, though. That's what I thought, but the brief glimpse had a profound effect, turning Sean's already pale face completely white. By then, Michael, having been informed of the situation, rushed over to us. "Rick, I heard my son has caused some trouble." Michael was drenched in sweat. Likely, half of it was cold sweat. "Sean, what have you done?" "Well." Sean trembled under Michael's stern gaze. He had likely been indulged as the heir, getting away with anything up until now. This was probably the first time he had seen his father in such a state. "Michael, it's nothing serious. The young master just accidentally spilled some wine, that's all," Gabriella said with a smile. "Yes, it's nothing significant, just a minor mishap, like from a child." Yes, just that. But what the young master said afterward, that's what's concerning us. We heard your son boasts of close ties with some rough individuals. We're quite curious about who they might be. We'd love to meet them. Hearing our words, both Michael and Sean seemed to tremble even more. Perhaps even Sean was starting to realize who I really was. I'm terribly sorry. Michael deeply apologized. It's my lack of oversight. I'll rectify his behavior immediately. Please, I beg of you, be magnanimous. His words trailed off into incoherence. Take Sean away. Michael ordered his secretaries to take Sean somewhere out of sight. It's a family matter now, Gabriella. We should probably take our leave, I suggested. Yes, I think so, and we got to enjoy some fine wine, Gabriella agreed. We left the rest to Michael and exited the venue. The rough person Sean mentioned was actually me. Officially, I run an accounting firm, but behind the scenes, I'm involved in what you might call the economically literate mafia. When I was born, my father, discerning that the mafia world couldn't sustain itself as it was, rigorously trained me as his heir. And Gabriella, too, comes from a mafia family. Her father was a mafia member from the good old days but seemed to have realized that they couldn't continue that way. Both our fathers bet on our marriage for survival, marrying their children to each other. Due to various complications domestically, our meeting and subsequent marriage took place overseas. It was essentially a political marriage. However, I fell in love with Gabriella at first sight. Her beauty, of course, but also her spirited nature, as we all saw earlier. I thought she was truly a magnificent woman. Gabriella, on her part, wasn't too keen initially. She fancied the typical tough guys seen in mafia movies. So, for the sake of her family and the organization, she reluctantly accepted the marriage to me. But as we got engaged and spent time together, she fell in love with my inner self, too. Rick might look like a civil servant, but inside him resides the soul of a mafioso. She'd say, seemingly complimenting me. And so, we became a deeply in love couple. Now, we can imagine life without each other, such is the depth of our mutual affection. People like Sean, small-time pikes, are what we despise the most. We know exactly what the word mafia means. That's why we never harm ordinary folks. But someone like Sean, who has no power of his own, tends to trample on others with the help of others. Michael keeping someone like him as the heir, we see their future not good, you know. Gabriella said, intertwining her arm with mine. Indeed, but maybe we should give him a chance once, I replied. Jess, we've known each other for a long time, after all, Gabriella added. We closely observed what Michael would do next. Shortly thereafter, Sean entered a period of illness and retreated from public life. It's likely just a cover story. Michael appointed a secretary as his heir. The Simmons family has only Sean as a male heir. They have 2 daughters, and it seems the eldest and the secretary are to be married. I wonder what this secretary is like, Gabriella mused. He's quite an impressive individual. There had been talk that he would make a good heir for a while now, I informed her. Then the only issue is whether the eldest daughter can come to love him. Gabriella pondered, her expression turning slightly sympathetic as if recalling her own experiences. I'm lucky to have married someone I love so dearly, but I would have felt sorry if that weren't the case, she reflected. I feel the same. I'm happy because it's Gabriella, but who knows how things would have turned out otherwise. I confessed, speaking my truth. Even if Gabriella hadn't been my partner, I would have married for the sake of my family and organization and would have taken care of my wife. But whether I would have felt this happy is another question. Right, and even if the person was wonderful, if the chemistry wasn't there, it just wouldn't work, Gabriella added. Indeed, I agreed. May those two cherish each other and find lasting happiness. Gabriella expressed her hope for the secretary and the eldest daughter. We wished for the happiness of the new heir couple of the Simmons family and for the further prosperity of the Simmons family. It's because these wishes are connected to the deep ties of our organization and to our own bright future. Gabriella, we also need an heir, I mentioned. At that, Gabriella blushed like the wine that day and gently rested her head on my shoulder.